This one's about episode 8 of the Madman's Daily Unequivocal Comedy, Once in a Lifetime, which is based on the Talking Heads song. And that entire album kind of led my direction for some reason. I was never a huge Talking Heads fan until maybe 2020, 2021 recently. Like, I liked them. I was just never a big fan like I am currently now. And when I wrote this, but this is maybe the truest like outlier of anything I wrote for season 1. Um, it's more of a play, but I don't know if it actually be a play because it's like a fever dream as well, and it's just packed with a lot of absurd stuff, like a dream. I would say going in, if you go to read this script, if anyone ever reads this script, pretend you're having a dream because it might make more sense that way. When I read it, that's how I read it. Like I'm dreaming. I don't know if I intended to write it like that. My initial idea was to write 50 pages of just a man alone in his car driving and talking to himself. And I was like, well, that's never been done. And then by page 20, I was like, there's a reason this has never been done, because it's really boring just to listen to a guy talk for 50 pages alone in his car, even if he's talking to himself, like different versions of himself. It wasn't interesting. So I scrapped that idea and I just went stream of consciousness. Like I would just write the scene descriptions, random ones, before I even filled out the action and dialogue. I think that's how I did it for this one. When I outlined it, I would just pick random ideas in my head and be like, all right, the next setting will be this and that. Like a dream does. Sometimes your dream takes you to places where you have no idea how you got there. So yeah, I don't even know how to explain this one. It's weird, man. It's an existential exercise. Um, I, I was watching Waiting for Godot, and I think I attempted to read it. It was, I don't know if I got through the whole thing. It's tough for me to read like plays like that. But I learned of that from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Waiting for Big Mo. And I was like, all right, let me check this out. And then that eventually led me to write this one. So it's weird how that happened. This one came out of nowhere. Like as I was writing the screenplay, I had some outline of ideas I had from the past, but this one came out of nowhere. And there's bad language. Yeah, maybe there's some bad language, but it's probably the best dialogue I've ever done. There's a lot of dialogue, and it's probably the best I've done in any script I've ever written. A lot of editing on this one, and it would be tough for actors to get through this one. I'm just assuming because there's a lot of dialogue, which if you look at Waiting for Godot, I don't know how actors get through that. That's like crazy. It's just people talking the whole time, and the dialogue is just crazy to me. So maybe it was influenced by that a pretty good deal. Um, yeah, don't take any of this stuff seriously. And this one is just completely surrealistic fiction, fever dream, and that would be my advice. Just pretend you're having a dream when you read this script. The ending's kind of dark, but I couldn't think of any other way to end it. It's just kind of fitting to the themes I was talking about. And I really don't want to talk about the plot. I'll just make a complete surprise. Whoever ends up reading this script, There's no logical way to describe this plot. There's no logic whatsoever. Like, there's no three-act structure, and maybe minimally you could try to BS something to make it. Yeah, this is the first act, second act. But it's tough for me to even organize it like that. It's, it just follows this guy on his birthday as he goes through his day, and it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. So maybe this is the most Twilight Zone type of episode, but I don't really know how else to describe it besides that. Anyway, if you like weird, dramatic stuff like that, there's some humor as well. And if you like stuff like that, give this one a shot.